Welcome back to Tegafit Up. In this lesson, we are going to learn about CSS syntax and selectors, how to tell CSS what to style and how to style it properly. In the last lesson, we talked about how CSS works, how to use it. But in this lesson, we are going to learn how the syntax and selectors and how to tell CSS what to do. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification button so you don't miss out anytime I drop a new video on this series. CSS syntax, which is the basic structure. Every CSS rules follows a simple pattern. Here is the pattern. We have selector, property, and value. So let's break it down. Selector tells CSS which HTML element to style, while property tells CSS what to change, and the value tells CSS how to change it. That's it. Selector, property, and value. That's how it works. This means all P elements should have blue text and font size of 18 pixels. So with this, we are going to practice what this means. P elements should have blue text and font size of 18 pixels. So heading to my Virtual Studio Code, I'm doing that inside the head of my website. So now I'm inserting the style elements and bring out the select the P. P is our selector, and we have to do some declaration here. So we are giving the color to be blue, and giving it font size of 18 pixels. 18 pixels. Yes, that's it. So let me open this so we can see it in our browser. Yes, we have something like this. Here's the big tags, here the big tags. Everything is now in color. This one is different from big tags, and also this is our heading. That's an example. So this is what the remaining selector property and give it the value that, and everything will be done properly. Type of CSS selector, we have about a lot of type of CSS selectors. How you different way that you can select an HTML element one after the other. So the first one we have is element selector, that is target all elements of a specific type. That is, if you have more than two or three H1, which is our heading one, in your pages, it's going to select them. It's going to select them that, okay, this is what I want to style. I want to apply the color to. I hope you understand. Here is the declaration. Here is the selector, property, and the value. This will style all H1 heading in the web pages that you have. With this example, it's going to apply it to all the H1 uh, on each pages that you have in your CSS file. Number two, we have class selector. This class selector targets elements with a specific class name. You write it with a dot. That is, for example, we have our box here, and with a background color of light blue. The HTML will be, so now let's go to our HTML. So we have it here already. This is a box, and what we need to do to select it out, we are using the dot to declare it out. Then box, that's our selector. That's our selector. Then we give it a background, but background color of light blue. So that's it. That's our clear selector. So have you seen the difference? You should see the full difference now. This one have a light blue background. This one have a normal default background. So that's how to do select a class in CSS. Then the next one we have ID selector. Yes, target an element with a specific ID. You wrote it with a hash. That is, whenever you want to bring out a styles like something like this, you want to bring out ID in CSS, you start with hash. Then this hash, you are going to bring something in here, hash main title. sorry, title. So these I've already told you. This is what I want to do. Now what we need to do here is, let's check again. We have to give it another color. Instead of the black, we have to give it another color. So let's give it color. We are giving it purple. So something will change now. So let's go. As you can see, we have our H1 with a purple color using ID selector. We use class selector for this to apply background. We use ID selector for this to change the color. So now the next one we have here should be universal selector. This universal selector target every element on the pages, every element on the pages, UB H1 or H2 or P element or form element, anything element. This is going to apply what? Useful to apply any form of anything that you want to apply, like you want it to apply to all elements. Just like this, we are using our star, that's our universal selector. We have margin, give it 0, then we have padding, we give it 0 also. So now if I go to my browser, nothing will change. Nothing will change because we something have changed. If you don't know, something have changed. So now what we need to do here is let me comment this out so we see what changed exactly. As you can see, we said we are to we have different kind of elements inside these pages, and we have this universal selector is going to apply anything that you have there to each element that you have on your pages. So now if I uncomment, let me undo. So if I comment this out and I give it this one, let me see, I'm giving it a color. So if I give it the color of what? Let me give it red. And let's see what will happen. Okay, because each element have their own colors. That's why this one is having different color. They have their own color already. That's why this one is showing this way. I hope you understand. So that's how universal selector works. Useful for resetting default browser styles. And the next one, we have group selector. This group selector, how does it work? Apply the same style to multiple elements. Just like you have a H1, H2, or you want to apply the same color to each our heading, each heading one to any heading that you have. At times it might not be heading only, you might have different kind of element that you want to give the same styles. You just combine it together that okay, instead of you repeating, creating space, like each element have their own property and you want to apply the same thing to all, you can easily group them like H1, H2, H3, just like what we are going to do now. Just like I have my, or let me say I have my H1 comma P, then I'm giving out the declaration, I'm giving it the color of what, let me give it green. So if I come to my browser and reload it, you see something have changed. That is, it's only applied to the, what's it called? Applied to the key element only because we have an ID declaration here already. So if I uncomment this out, if I comment this out, so it's going to change to color green. The reason why the color green is not applied in the first place is because there is an ID that is handling the, what's it called? Let me say, is handling the color for the uh, our heading using ID selector. So we have used um we have used different kind of selector here. Number one, we have element selector. Number two, we have class selector. We have ID selector. We have universal selector. We have group selector, and also we have dependent selector. This will be the last selector that we have on the list here. So this dependent selector is going. It work this way. We have div and we have what inside? We have p element inside. So what we need to do here is we are styling this only. This is a box of div. Let me give it div Don't let me give it. Let me just give it dependent selector. This is a box of dependent selectors. So what I need to do here is let me give it a background color of let me give it background color of what? Let me give it this, and with a color of let me give it white. So if I go to my browser and see, you will see something is there. That's the work of it. That's what it does, which is dependent selector. I hope you understand. So tips: use class for repeated styling. Sorry, use classes for repeated styling. Use IDs only once per page. Don't forget. Use elements when you want to style all tags of that type. I hope you understand. That is, if you have use classes for repeated style, just like you have a box and you have box another place and you have box in another place in different sections, instead of you giving each box styling to save your coding space, you can just apply it box, then put everything that you want to. It's going to apply to everything. Anything box on the page, it's going to apply. Then use IDs only once per page. That is, if you have ID in your own page, it's going to make sure it appear once, so everything will apply properly. Then use elements when you want to style all tags of that type. That is, if you have p elements in your files and there are a lot of p elements, instead of you using this using that, you can just group them, having them. Then this is the p element for this. I want this style to apply to it. I hope you understand. And that's how CSS syntax and selector works. In the next lesson, we will explore CSS color, learning how to use color name, Xcode, RGB, and HLL value to make your website pops. If you find this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment CSS level up below. And turn on the notification button to get a notification anytime we bring up a new video. Thanks for watching.